What's going on, you lovely legends? It's your boy Curry Brownie, aka everyone's favorite Twitch streamer, and today we're going to be discussing the top 10 Battlefield maps that need to return in Battlefield 6. Now, I'm very excited. Obviously, we love the gameplay, the gunplay, and all the graphics and all the design. It is fantastic. But the map design could be a little bit better, and I think that's where introducing some of the all-time classics would come into play. Please keep in mind, these are my personal picks, so if you guys have your own picks, please drop them in the comment section down below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with number 10. Alright guys, to kick this list off, coming in at number 10, we've got Paracel Storm. And I remember when I first played this map, I used to call it Paracel Storm or Parcel Storm, whatever. I mean, the point is, this map was awesome. Everything about it, from the naval combat to the island battles, is just so much fun. The thing I love most about this map is that there's a long-range distance sniping battle that you could have while there's infantry gameplay going on in between that. And you could have vehicles passing by. You got your boats, you got all the PWC boats just driving around. You got a ton of aircrafts, helos, and jets flying all around in the air. This map is just awesome. Not to mention, this is going to be the first time in BF6 that they could introduce the naval gameplay as well as the swimming feature. It's extremely important in a map like this to have things like that because it'll change so much with BF6's particle effects when the ship crashes onto shore, or you have people who are fighting in the water while all of the water is just changing levels. This is going to be a fantastic map to bring back in BF6 specifically. Coming in at number 9, I've got Amiens from Battlefield 1. Now, this map was a little hard for me to put into this list, but I did so anyways because I think that having that dense urban infantry with meaningful cover and all the angle control was just perfect for this type of map, and it would make for an even better reintroduction into Battlefield 6. Now, obviously, the tanks are going to be a big part of this map, but we saw in Siege of Cairo that this game is definitely geared towards having infantry mixed with the vehicular combat like every perfect Battlefield game has. So I think having tanks reintroduced on this map would be fantastic. It already worked in BF1. I don't see why it wouldn't work in BF6. Now, coming in at number 8, I know this one's going to be a little bit more of my personal pick, and no one else might have this on their list, but Golmud Railway is such an awesome map. This is like a real sandbox experience. This is like a real sandbox experience in the Battlefield franchise. I haven't seen anything like this since. This map is so open, and it has so many lanes, and it has so much creativity you could take and liberty you could take to just where you want to go. It has a giant train that passes through and has turrets on both ends. You could obviously fight on the train, you could fight over in the factory, you could fight in the little village, or you could hop into some vehicles and just dominate that entire open space in this map. And last but not least, obviously, I would love to see those snipers being able to get their shots off, and this map is just perfect in that sandboxy kind of way. You don't really have any predestined routes. You could just make your own route. I love that. I think this map is so great, and it would be one that I would love to see brought back in BF6. Coming in at number 7, we've got Grand Bazaar from Battlefield 3. This map is just hitting home on all of its bases. You've got fast, really focused infantry gameplay, you've got these tight corridors, and you've got a ton of destructible cover, as well as just this urban environment feel to it that really succeeded well in Battlefield 3, and I think we could see a reintroduction of it in Battlefield 6. It's got a lot of great memories on it, and I think that a lot of the Battlefield 3 vets are going to really like this map coming back. We already have some maps kind of similar to it, but in my opinion, this map did a lot of what the city maps in BF6 are doing right now, but just the best out of all of those. And speaking of tight corridors, coming in at number 6, we have Operation Locker. Now, I know this pick is one that I personally am doing, and again, you're going to see a lot of Battlefield 4 maps on this list because I just love the Battlefield 4 maps personally, but Operation Locker, to me, was the definition of absolute chaos, but with a little bit of flanking routes and a little bit more of that kind of creativity of how you use the lighting effects in that map to your benefit or your detriment. If you had a flashlight on your gun, obviously it would help you a lot in the dark corridor sections, but it would also make you stand out, so you kind of have to pick when you use that type of weaponry. Shotguns were destroying people on this map. Grenades would just come around the corner and blow you and your team up. It was definitely chaotic, to say the least. But I think with BF6's level of destruction, we could even take out like the bottom base of that turret or the top mid section of the map and completely collapse it in. Maybe just introduce some new destructible scenarios on the map. You could also even have other flanking routes get opened up and just create a little bit more of a modern version of Operation Locker, and I would love to see that happen. There's also the snowy, long, like, sniper's route, I always called it, on the right-hand side if you spawn on one side of the prison. And it is fantastic to go out there and just have your combat more out in the open. So in my opinion, Operation Locker is really good, but we're going to see the king of all close quarters soon on this list. Now we're on the top 5, and again, not in any particular order, but I think this map goes in most people's top 5 or even top 3 Battlefield maps of all time, and I'm talking about the one and only Caspian Border. And this is by far one of the almost perfect Battlefield maps ever made. I mean, if you look at the fact that you can use jets and helicopters along with tanks, or you can just run and gun as an infantry, and it's all equal. There's not even a single thing that dominates more than the other on this map. In my opinion, that's what makes this such a perfect map. And I say the Battlefield 4 version specifically because the Battlefield 4 version introduced this underwater section that lets you pop up underneath the tunnel and just kind of take the tower from anyone who's in it without them knowing that you kind of did that little sneaky play. It got you away from tanks too, which I did plenty of times. This is a flagship map, and I think everybody would be on board with it coming back in for BF6. It's just the definition of combined arms, and it is perfect for all of your conquest gameplay. In at number 4, we have Operation Metro. Now, Operation Metro is similar to Operation Locker, I understand, but it does have a little bit different of a feel in the sense of its linear push is focused within this tunnel subway area, and outside of that you do have a little bit of a city kind of maybe little building. I'm not really sure how to explain this other than saying Operation Metro is an all-time classic. You'll be chucking grenades, shooting RPGs, getting kills left and right. It is just so much chaos, so much fun, and I know every single fan of Battlefield would love to see this map return, at least to some extent. Now we have finally made it to the top 3, and I have to say this map is definitely one that I don't think people would have on their list ever, but I'm gonna put it on mine. Passchendaele from Battlefield 1 is an all-time great map, and here's why. Because Passchendaele was a map that defined World War I gameplay. It was dark, it was gritty. You had the entire map in Gulf of Flames surrounding it, and then the entirety of the playable area was just mud, dark tractions with like no ability to move, and you were just fighting from the trenches, just trying to get over. It was crazy. There's no predictability on this map whatsoever. You're going to be going from chaotic battle to chaotic battle, and I think this would be so much fun to play in Battlefield 6, especially with the amount of dirt kick up and all the dust and particle effects. This map needs to come back. I would love to see Passchendaele come back with the very little cover and all of the same ambiance as in Battlefield 1. Now we're down to our last 2, and I'm going to say Hainan Resort comes in at number 2. Again, this isn't in any particular order, but I just know this is not a map on most people's lists, but it is on mine, and here's why. Hainan Resort felt very purposeful. Most of the map feels like it was designed with some level of thought put towards different gameplay styles. You had open airspace, obviously, but then you had the naval combat that was off to the side and can go through the canals and kind of affect some of the land. But then you can also go into the resort, fight in the building, fight for the elevator, get to the rooftop, fight on the rooftop, take down one or both sides of the resort, and then you would have this chaotic dust storm of all of that debris up in the air. I could see this being such a great adapted map for Battlefield 6. I think that a lot of the map just flowed super smoothly from the forward all the way to the backward side. You know, I think the map just flowed really well going from one side to the other. You had the battleship that you could be kind of controlling and fighting in, and then you can come out to the resort, and then you can go out into the water, and then you can go out even further. It was just such a good, well-flowing map. I would love to see Hainan Resort come back. In at number 1, this is the map that I personally would really love to see in Battlefield 6, and this is going to be Siege of Shanghai from Battlefield 4. Like I said originally, there's a lot of Battlefield 4 maps on this list. Obviously, I love Battlefield 4. I think it was a fantastic game, but Siege of Shanghai is a map that I think encapsulates so many styles of gameplay. It's such a well-versed map, and it does something that I love, which is metropolitan kind of urban combat warfare, and it has the massive tower in the middle that you can collapse and change the entire landscape of the rest of the map with. You have tanks, you have aircrafts, you have infantry gameplay, you have boats. I mean, you have every single thing in Battlefield 4 on this map. So you could definitely transfer that over to Battlefield 6 and it'll be so much cooler. Can you imagine the particle effects from the tower collapsing, but in Battlefield 6 with the graphics we have and the particle effects of that game? It's just going to change the entire landscape of the map. I also really hope that they keep the little sequence of you flying in on the map. That would just be great. But with all that said, the meaningful evolution, all of the crazy gameplay, and the verticality of this map is a reason I will pick it at number 1. I'm so curious, what are your guys' 10 maps that you want to see? Please drop them in the comment section down below. And again, if you did like this video, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel greatly, and I appreciate it so very much. Thank you guys so much, and I'll make sure to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.